Good evening. Those of you in the audience and those watching at home, welcome to the September 5th, 2006 regular session of the Tupelo City Council. We have a very large gallery this evening. I'm glad to see that. Before we start the meeting this evening, we've asked Dr. Bryant Barnes, pastor of Calvary Baptist Church, to give the invocation. Following that, Public Works Director John Pittman will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pray with me. Our Father, it is our prayer that in these deliberations tonight that we might be considerate to one another, and that, Father, we might conduct ourselves in a manner worthy of your presence. We pray, Father, that in each discussion, in each deliberation held tonight, that the goal may be clarity, that we may be understood in that which we say and in our respect for one another. And Father, we pray that at the conclusion of this time together, that it may be said that we demonstrated indeed our love for you and for one another. Bless each one in this room tonight and each who will have a part in making these decisions, and we'll be grateful for your leadership to them. In Christ's name, amen.
Thank you, Dr. Barnes. John? With that, I'll now call the meeting to order, and the first thing is to confirm or amend the agenda order.
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion that we delete item 6.2 and item 6.3, and also add item 6.7, facilities lease, to the agenda.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Mayor, do we have any proclamations, recommendations, or recognitions?
Yes, Mr. Hill, we do, and I would ask Mr. Palmer Foster, if he would, to join me here at the podium. I'd like to recognize him this evening. This is a proclamation in recognition of Mr. Foster's service on the Board of Commissioners of the Northeast Mississippi Regional Water Supply District. Whereas Palmer Foster was one of the City of Tupelo's original appointees to the Board of Commissioners of the Northeast Mississippi Regional Water Supply District in February of 1988, and whereas he has served continuously on the Board of Commissioners since that initial appointment, and whereas he was instrumental in the planning, construction, completion of the intake and treatment facilities on the Tombigbee River, and the design, construction, and completion of the delivery system, which began supplying water to the City of Tupelo in September 1991, the Turner and Tulips Industrial Parks in 1992, and now supplies water to Brewer, Dorsey, Saltillo, Baldwin, Guntown, and Fulton. And whereas Mr. Foster has always maintained that water should be delivered to the district's customers at the lowest possible rate, and also provides sufficient operating maintenance and upkeep funds for the district. And whereas under his leadership, the district has provided an uninterrupted supply of potable water to the City of Tupelo, and whereas the switch to surface water provided to Tupelo by the district enabled the underground aquifer to renew itself and provide an adequate supply of water to several rural water districts in our area. And whereas Mr. Foster worked tirelessly and faithfully with other commissioners to make improvements to the facilities including an additional clear well and increased capacity of the treatment facility. Whereas Mr. Foster was a graduate of Rust College and distinguished himself in a career with the Boy Scouts of America, where he was employed as an executive for 36 years. And whereas Mr. Palmer Foster was selected by the Tupelo Junior Auxiliary as Citizen of the Year in 1995. And whereas Mr. Foster has served on numerous boards and committees, including Lyft Incorporated, the All-American City Committee, and the Mississippi Methodist Senior Services. And whereas Mr. Foster has been married to his wife Ethel for 57 years and is a member of the Spring Hill Missionary Baptist Church, where he served as a deacon. And whereas Mr. Palmer Foster has distinguished himself as a volunteer in this community, and whereas it is fitting that Mr. Foster's service to this community, and specifically his uninterrupted service to the Board of Commissioners of Northeast Mississippi Regional Water Supply District for 18 years, be recognized by this city. Now, therefore, the City Council and I, Ed Neely, Mayor of the City of Tupelo, do hereby formally recognize Mr. Palmer Foster for his outstanding service to our city this, the 5th day of September 2006. Thank you.
Let me say thank you very much. When Alderman Boyce Grayson came and asked me to serve as one of the commissioners, I said I'd do my best. I hope I didn't disappoint him. Anytime you have an opportunity to serve your fellow man, then and then only do you serve God as he wants you to do. Thank you very much.
On behalf of the council to Palmer, we want to thank you for all your years of community service. You're an asset to the community and always have been. I hope you will continue to be. I know you will. Thank you.
Mr. Hill, we are happy to have with us tonight Troop 67 of the Girl Scouts of America, and I'll ask these young ladies to come and stand and face over here to the cameras where the people at home can see. Their leader is Mrs. Beth Lundy. Okay. And first, we have, and I'll ask you young ladies to wave when I call your name, okay? Miss Margaret Hill, daughter of Chris and Blake Hill. There she is waving up. Laura Lundy, daughter of Dr. James and Beth Lundy. And Katie Lundy, also the daughter of Dr. James and Beth Lundy. Anna McCoy, there's Anna, daughter of Dr. Brian and Lori McCoy. Brittany White, daughter of Roy and Leanne White. And Bailey White, daughter of Tyler and Deborah White. And Emma Whitty, daughter of Dr. David and Ms. Donna Whitty. Now, did I leave anybody out?
We had two just join us.
Oh, okay.
Margaret Hill.
Margaret Hill. Addie Bridges, okay. Well, we are certainly pleased to have you young ladies visit us tonight, and I hope you have lots of exciting fun at the Girl Scouts, and I know you will. Thank you so much.
Mr. Hill, I have a presentation from the Tupelo Against Smoking. This is a letter from the Physicians of North Mississippi Medical Center and signatures, which total 3,234 signatures, citizens of Tupelo that are against smoking in public areas. And I have a small presentation from our girls.
You did very well.
These are also some pictures that the Girl Scouts drew as part of their patch.
This Margaret Hill is my granddaughter and my pride and joy.
Mr. Martin?
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Very pretty. Good job.
Thank you, girls. Move to the next item, that's public recognitions. Does the council members have any public recognitions they'd like to make this evening?
Mr. President, I'd like to recognize Evergreen Square and their manager, Melba Bell, for the outstanding job they're doing at the apartment down there. Ms. Bell is offering tutoring to the students, young people that live in the apartment. They also offer homework assistance. This happens every day, a homework assistant 4 and 5 days a week. They also offer money management workshops for the adults. They offer resume building classes for the adults. They give kids, they got computers that to let the kids work on. They also have children movies, and they have Boy Scouts, and they have a credit repair program for the adults. And they also have adult social hours and other things they're doing. And I think the other thing that's important down there is they have really cleaned up those apartments, and they're outstanding apartments for Tupelo, and it just represents what can happen when somebody sets their mind to clean up a place and making it look a lot better. We appreciate Ms. Bell and what she's doing at that place.
I was floored when I found out they were doing after-school tutoring and mentoring to students. I think that's outstanding. It's something that really needs to be furthered in Tupelo. So my congratulations to the Evergreen Apartments and the manager.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
I would like to mention some that we're going to be doing in Tupelo. This is our second time doing it. It's a festival that where the police and the community do something positive together. And we will be having this festival October the 7th, and we'd like for the whole city to take part in this. It would be at the Gumtree Park, and here's a brightly colored sign, and we would like for all of you to participate. There'll be all kind of activities going on, and it's a positive thing to do with the community and the police.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. I'd like to mention Mary Connor Adcock for winning Yard of the Month in the Joyner neighborhood last month. So congratulate her. Any other recognitions or announcements? All right, we'll close the regular meeting and now go into the public agenda. And the first is public hearings. The first item is proposed City of Tupelo 2006-2007 ad valorem tax levy. Is there anybody in the audience who wants to address the council in regard to the tax levy? Mr. Ballard, come forward. I know who you are, but some of these other council members in the public may not, so if you give your name and address, I would appreciate that, and you have 5 minutes.
Greetings. I'm Dan Ballard, one of the many overtaxed citizens of Tupelo. I live on Foxmore Drive, and I'm glad to see that had my preacher left? I was back there scratching through all these words on my speech here, but they didn't take up a whole lot of room because there's only 4 letters to each one of them. So I can tell y'all just how I feel now since he's gone. First of all, I want to tell you, whether y'all believe it or not, I like all of you. You know, y'all are my friends. I even tried to find each one of you a chef's hat today. Remember 20 years ago, we were paying $9 a month for sewer. We had to build a new sewer plant, and our bill to pay for it went up to equal our water bill. Now we're building another new sewer plant, and we're increasing our water and sewer bill to pay for it. What happened to that big increase that we've had over this whole 20 years? Government seems to never remember where the funds are really supposed to go. Some years ago, we bought the old mall along with the J.C. Penney building across the street with the idea that it was going to be City Hall, police headquarters, water and light, and so on and so forth. It sat there till the roof started leaking and was deemed structurally unsound so much that it was demolished. And the odd part about it, when they started demolishing it, they had a backhoe up on top of it to try to tear the structure down. No one could remember why we purchased it. That's just government. We talk of affordable housing, and what happens? We increase the taxes on houses to make it more unaffordable. And I want y'all just not to think, because there's just a few of us out here that's speaking against this tax bill, that's the situation. If everybody in Tupelo showed up that was against it, it looked like another Elvis festival. Because I have been vocal about this, and so on and so forth, and people have come to me and expressed their dismay at taxes being raised. If we can't pay for it with an approximately 30% increase in revenue each year, we don't need it regardless of what it is. Can you imagine running a business that had a net profit increase of 30% each year? Like I said, y'all all my friends, I like all of you. I just don't like your politics.
Thank you, Mr. Ballard. Is there anybody else in the audience that care to speak of the tax levy? Just come forward and give your name and address, and you too will have 5 minutes.
My name is Ann Blair Huffman. Why do you say where I live? 2450 Hickorywood Drive, Tupelo. You all are the leaders of our city, and at a time when Tupelo, I feel like, needs to stand out, and Tupelo needs to be a place where people do want to live, a place where people want to come to visit, a place where we can have wonderful recreational facilities and tournaments. I'm asking each of you to be courageous and to do what it takes to boost our taxes to give us, the children of our town, what we need. I'm right now the Vice President of Shockwave Aquatic Team, and there are several supporters here for that. The Shockwave Aquatic Team supports the entire Park and Rec plan that we have going on right now. We're for the baseball. We're for all components being upgraded to a place where, like I said, we want to attract people to Tupelo. There's several things that are sort of running through my brain. When I sat down and started reading the paper about, well, we're going to increase it by this much, personally, I feel like you're not going to increase the taxes enough. That's what I'm afraid of. And I don't want to just do anything halfway. I want us to go for it and build an aquatic facility for all the citizens in Tupelo and to support the Park and Rec plan. Just a little example. I mean, I know you said that we paid less taxes before. When I was a kid, gas was 10 cents a gallon, and we know what it is now, so everything is going up, and I'm not sure where that argument is. But I went through I pulled my charge card bill from the Cleveland meet. Cleveland hosted our state meet this summer for USS Swimming in Mississippi. And there's only, I believe, 2 facilities in Mississippi right now that can host the long course meet because of the pool specifications. And in Tupelo, I took 4 children with me to the meet. I spent on my charge card $1,651.11 in Cleveland, Mississippi. That's not, I've spent a little bit more than that. I'm glad we don't own a television because my husband isn't seeing this on the thing right now. But we spent a lot of money in Cleveland. People, when they come to see us, they know we have a great team of coaches. We have a great swim team. We go places. We do well. We are in a facility that is old. Right now, we were out of the water today because of pump problems. We will probably be out of the water for 8 weeks. We were probably out of the water 8 weeks last year from the bubble going up and down, from not having a permanent structure. Swimming is one of those sports that we could swim 365 days a year if it was grounded right for lightning. There are several different meets we could host. Y'all can, it's like, help me out. We could have 2 USS swimming meets here a year. We could have high school championships here. We could have North Half here. We could have zones. We could have Master Nationals. The list goes on and on of things that we could do to fill our pool on weekends, long weekends, to have the hotels and the restaurants full of people. There's other benefits to our town for members. Swimming is one of those sports that you can do from the time you're born until you die. I could go on, but I think I'll let some other people step up here. Thank you, and I'm serious. Be courageous. Go for it.
Thank you, Ms. Huffman. Anybody else care to speak for tax levy? Sir?
Good evening. My name is Lucas Smith, and I live on Rosewood Street here in Tupelo. Do I want to talk? No, but I will. I am the head coach of Shockwave Aquatics. I'm also the head coach of the Tupelo High School swim team. Just a little background of history for Shockwave. Shockwave's won, I think it's 3 out of the last 4 state championships, short course, 4 out of the last 4 state championships, long course. And that's for the city team. Now, the Tupelo High School swim team, the girls last year went 4 years in a row undefeated, and the guys won their first state championship last year. Shockwave roughly has about 170, 180 members. Tupelo High School swim team, boys and girls combined, have about 45. I want to show you what ages that I represent. So if you're a member of Shockwave or Tupelo High School, would you please stand? This is just a small portion of the kids that I'm here representing. Like I said, we have between 170, 180 strong. And these are the same ages that this council should keep in mind as they make their decision about the tax increase for the growth of Tupelo. And the last thing that I want to say and I want to leave you with is kind of what I do, the reason that I coach, the reason that I'm a teacher at the high school is for the kids. I think this has nothing to do with swimming or baseball or with anything else that's on the agenda, but I think it has everything to do with kids. And so I just ask you, please look around and keep them in mind when you're making this hard decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Anyone else in regard to the tax levy? There being none, we'll move on to the next item in the public hearings, and that is in regard to amendments to the Development Code. No one care to speak in regard to that? Next item, rezoning of old Bluebell building, property on South Green Street. Anyone care to speak in regard to that issue? Come forward, sir.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Blaylock. I was born and raised in Milltown, and I have 4 pieces of property in that area, and I have a business, been there for 22 years. And Mr. Watkins is going to fix up the Bluebell plant. I'm all for it. I'm 100% behind what he's going to do. He's talking about $250,000, $100,000 on these apartments. But we always want to have a backup plan just in case his plan does not go through. We always, there's always a big if to everything. And if he sells it or if he does anything else with it, we need to make sure what he proposed to you guys, that if he changes it or if anybody else buys it, they have to go through the rezoning procedure again, because we definitely, anything can happen. Anything can happen. And I'm all for it. What he's going to do, what's been proposed to you guys on the, what he's going to do, the Bluebell plant, but we just want to have a backup plan in case it goes another direction. In case he don't do what he said he's going to do, in case he sells it, because he told me he could, anybody offer money, he could sell it. You never know which direction it might go. But all I'm saying, if it does go another direction, I hope you pull the rezoning and let us come back up here and we can discuss that, because I think our neighborhood deserves that, because we definitely want to be careful what goes in the Bluebell plan, because it's very important to our neighborhood. So I appreciate you guys listening to me, and I'm all for what he's going to do, but that big if something happens, we need to be informed. You know, our neighborhood needs to be informed. If he sells it, we need to be informed, because once it's rezoned, it's rezoned. But if we need a plan where if that proposal don't go through, or if it changes, we need to be notified. He needs to go through the rezoning procedure again. That's all I ask. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Blaylock. Anyone else care to speak on that issue? Next one is determination of need to clean private properties. Anyone here to speak in regard to any of the properties that are designated to be cleaned? That was the last item on the public hearings. We'll now move into citizen hearings. And the first item there is in regard to the Regional Rehab Center 2007 budget request.
After living here in 48 years, I still sound like a Yankee, and I don't think my accent's going to change very much. I'm the president and chairman of the board of Regional Rehab. It's been there 41 years. I've been associated with it for the past 4 years. My purpose here is very simple. I want to thank you for all the support that you've given us in the past, and we're asking for you to keep the funding at the same level that we currently have, and I'm going to ask for a little more based on something I'm going to mention here in a minute or so. We still don't charge for our services. I think that's one of the great things for this community, and I know from my contact with other people in other places, we are unique in the United States in offering rehabilitation services at no cost to the clients. We call clients our patients. We call patients our clients. You received a letter, a copy of our budget. The budget was $980,000 for 07, $962,000 worth of expenses forecast, meaning a surplus of about $18,000. We have made great strides in reducing expenses, maintenance costs. We have a new contract on that, energy costs, etc. Our big problem is we have over 100 children, mostly on our waiting list, to be served with our various services. The funding that we have today would not permit another therapist on our staff. Maybe we have enough funds for a half a therapist. That doesn't mean half time. It has to be a full-time person. Let me give you some statistics. 80% of our clients are children, and more than half of the 80% are children under 5 years of age. 20% of our clientele are adults, mostly stroke victims, people with genetic problems, some physical deformities. And what we're trying to do is regain their lost skills in walking, talking, reading, and self-care. We have 18 employees, 15 therapists, all except one has a master's degree. To keep our organization going, we have 10 fundraisers. I won't mention all of them, but one of them's coming up next Monday, and that's a golf tournament at Old Waverly. We have 36 teams signed up. We are sold out. Another big happening is next March, when we will have our gospel sing that we usually have in Fulton, headed up by Buster Davis from Davis Ford, who puts it together, and that's a two-day affair, two-day concert on March 9th and 10th. The big thing is the Celebration of Hope, when we have 2 hours of television from WTVA on November 26th between 1 and 3 o'clock. All of our counties around Lee County have made donations to us in the past couple of years, where we've gone out and requested funds because they had people from the county using our services. We serve about 21 counties. It costs us $2,700 to keep our facility open. Speech is about half of our business. Last year we served 2,218 clients, approximately 420 from Tupelo. I made a survey about 2.5 years ago of all the different facilities like our rehab center, and I find out that we are serving the community with roughly $1,200,000 worth of services for free. No other place in the country can say that. I believe also when the All-American City team visited us, they looked upon our service in a very positive way, and it was one of those extra things that they took into consideration when we got that award. We have 2 clinics. One we had last week when a team of orthopedic surgeons came down from Le Bonheur, and we saw about 200 patients who are scheduled through the health department, and they provide a free prosthesis for mostly children. We also have a cleft palate clinic, which we do 5 times a year, and there are 5 Tupelo surgeons who donate their surgical talents to these young children, mostly under the 5 years of age. I can't remember the 5th one, but 4 of the surgeons are Janice Burns, Leland Cressman, Dr. Dickey, and Richard Warner. I want to also mention our restoration project. We have not done, or it has not been done, in the past 47 years as far as maintenance is concerned of the building, and we're going to kick off a program at the first of the year for our restoration project. We have grants out, which we expect to get for $930,000, of which $300,000 we received from the governor last week.
You've got 30 seconds, Mr. Banks.
You're on. I could go on and on, okay? I'm ready for you, Dick. We could go on and on, but I think you get the gist of things. We take care of people who are less fortunate than ourselves and come to us not of their own choosing. I'm very proud to be part of that organization, and I know we'll continue no matter what the conditions are. I hope we can get funding for another half a therapist. Any questions? Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Alan. I knew you told me you need about 3 minutes, but I knew when you got talking about the rehab center, that was going to be a challenge for you. So, all right. The next item on the citizens' hearing is 5.2B, Dr. Jim Brish, smoke-free Tupelo ordinance.
Hi, I'm Jim Risch. I've lived in this community for 11 years. I'm a practicing physician. I'm certified in internal medicine, pulmonary diseases, and critical care medicine. And it's really an honor to be able to talk to you about a subject I feel very passionate about. I can't do as good a job as the Brownie troupe did, but I'll try to make some very salient points. I really see the ravages of the effects of both direct active smoking as well as passive smoking. Certainly can't control the people who desire to smoke, but I think we do have an obligation to try to protect those that choose not to smoke and to take care of their health. Estimated 1.1 billion adults smoke worldwide. In the United States, it's probably about 24% of our population smoke. About half of smokers who smoke regularly will die of a tobacco-related illness, which is sad. The tobacco deaths are responsible for about 400,000 deaths in the United States, or 1 in 5 deaths. There's been a lot of interest in the health effects of passive smoking. We know a lot of the effects of active smoking, and I won't belabor those. But a lot of interest since the late 1960s. There have been several studies documenting these, and I just want to kind of review some of those effects that we need to be concerned about. When we talk about side stream smoke, that's smoke that's generated from a smoldering cigarette that's released into the air, and it actually has more toxic compounds than does what we call mainstream smoke, or what active smokers will exhale into the air. Those include carbon monoxide and benzene as well as nicotine. Benzene, for those who don't know, is what you whiff when you fill up your car with gas. And it's estimated that cigarette smoke or passive cigarette smoke is the major source of benzene consumption for non-smokers. This is important because it can cause leukemia. So there's a growing bit of evidence that leukemia is a problem for passive smokers. Also, lung cancer. Unfortunately, a sizable portion of the patients I see with lung cancer are people who have never smoked, but have been around people who do smoke. This is an opinion shared by the U.S. Surgeon General, the U.S. National Research Council, and the International Council for Cancer Research. Other things, I could go on and on, respiratory symptoms, asthma exacerbations. We see higher rates of ER admissions or visits for our asthmatic population that have been exposed to smoke indirectly. There's also evidence that coronary heart disease, there's a 30% increased risk in coronary heart disease for people who don't smoke, who are exposed to smoke. So I could go on and on. In children, we worry about sudden infant death syndrome, actually dental cavities, middle ear disease infections, respiratory tract infections. Since the mid-1980s, there's been a lot of efforts at increasing regulation of passive smoking in public places. California actually led the fight, I think, by banning smoking in restaurants and bars. There was a lot of arguments that the negative impact economically would be devastating. But what has been borne out after these policies have been in place for quite a time is there's been no real compromise in economic aspects of this. As of January 2006, there's been about 124 municipalities across the United States that have total 100% ban on smoking in public places, restaurants, workplaces, and bars. Starkville recently, as you're all aware, passed similar ordinances. So I think the body of growing knowledge on this issue, it's real important that we, I think, be proactive and show that we need to do the right thing by our citizens of this area and certainly by our patients by passing meaningful ordinances on smoking. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else care to speak in regard to non-smoking ordinance? There being none, we'll now close the citizens' hearing and move into the action agenda. And the first item on the agenda is to review, approve ordinance amending the code ordinances to add smoking ban.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to recommend that we pass the ordinance as presented.
Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion or comment?
I've got a comment. I won't tell you up front I'm going to support the smoking ban, but I'm not telling you this to brag about it, but I do have some tobacco stock. I didn't buy it. It was traded to me from another company that I had bought Borden stock, and in a roundabout way, they dealt me Reynolds America tobacco stock. But I don't feel like I'm sacrificing a thing. I feel like smoking is a health issue and that we all should support it, and I support it 100%.
I need to add something just for clarification. Item under section 1359, what if there's an area where the total area is less than 25 feet? What would we do, alter it or what? If it's a small business or whatever related to this?
If it's within 25 feet.
I say if the area is less than 25 feet, the total area, I mean, they don't have that much footage around the bill.
Smoking would not be permitted there according with this ordinance. Has to be within 25 feet of a public entrance.
Okay, what about B? That needs to be clarified. Could that be clarified? Item B, under that, attached area of restaurants that are covered, particularly covered with more than 50% of the perimeter of the outside area, while the otherwise close to the outside. What does that mean?
That would mean an outside smoking area would not have more than two sides. You could not have a three-sided enclosure and permit smoking in. We had two sides or less, wall sides, not gates or fences. But any other comment or?
I just wanted to say that I have spoken several times with Jim Bean, who is chairman of the Restaurant Association, and he's been very, very supportive of this and said he would be delighted when it was passed. And I wanted to thank the Restaurant Association for most everyone involved in that for being supportive of this. And we've done a lot of investigation in this, and all the literature that I have read says that it indeed does not hurt business. It really enhances it. So I want the restaurants to know that this council would never try to willfully do anything that would harm their businesses. They're too important to the community. But all the research shows that this is indeed a benefit to restaurants.
Mayor Deely?
Mr. Hill, I also support this ordinance. I think any thinking person knows that smoking is not good for you. I would call your attention to the same section that Ms. Davis has as prohibiting smoking in outdoor areas. A number of people have brought up concerns about the 25-foot requirement from front doors. We have restaurants in the downtown area that have outdoor dining that you can't get 25 feet away from. They feel that it would be detrimental to them. I think if the council in its wisdom would adopt a 10-foot limitation on smoking within 10 feet of the door, that would solve that problem. And also the section B, to my way of thinking, and this has been brought up by a number of people in the restaurant business, if they have an outdoor facility that's totally outdoors, doesn't have any opening to the inside, and they allow smoking in it, that it should be allowed. I think everyone who doesn't want to be exposed to secondhand smoking and everything else goes in the restaurant where it is totally banned. But that if a restaurant has an outside area like that they should be free to allow their customers to smoke in it if they so desire. So those two concerns were brought to me by citizens in the business and also by a citizen who plans to build restaurants downtown, who plans outdoor facilities, and they request that you consider that change.
Well, may I say something, please? Sure. And I respect the mayor, of course, but this is only surfaced late this afternoon, and we had already, gone through all of this, and I would hope that we could pass it as it is, and if this becomes an issue, let's revisit it and make some decisions then. But we have really not had an opportunity to discuss this, and I'd like to stick with our original proposal if all possible.
Any other comment?
I got a legal question. Could if we so desire, amend this motion that's on the table to exclude or to include this, what the mayor said, these two differences? Could it be added as an amendment to the motion?
It could be added as an amendment. The motion would be to
amend the ordinance that was just moved and substitute that footage, if that was the desire, then you would vote on the amendment prior to voting on the main motion.
Okay. I'd move that we amend this ordinance to include these two changes.
Second? Dies for lack of a second. I will make a comment that we've discussed the ordinance a number of work sessions. All the desires and wishes have been discussed and hashed over. And this morning we finally came to an agreement, most of us, that we would adopt the American Lawn Association's recommended ordinance. I did have a call from, I believe, Mayor, the gentleman who was building downtown, and he was concerned about an outdoor patio. When I explained it to him that it was no more than two sides, that would be banned. He was comfortable with it and offered no further opposition to me on that particular item. Any further comments?
That's a problem. We'll definitely look at it later.
It can always be readdressed, yes. It presents a...
Mr. Chairman, I would just like to say on this particular issue that we're voting on tonight, I don't think I have ever had as much interest in an issue that's put on the agenda as this. I've received lots of emails, lots of phone calls, and probably only 2 out of all of them has been against this. But I think when you listen to a physician that comes forth that deals with this every day and how it affects people that don't smoke, I think we really need to look at this very seriously and accept this ordinance.
Any further comment and discussion?
Mr. President, would we be able to look at individual businesses later as a major or minor conditional use and carry it through the planning
I'm sure you
committee?
could.
Is that that's a possibility?
Mm-hmm.
So we could deal with hardships on restaurants downtown if that became an issue. Sure.
Any further discussion, comment? All in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous? All right. All right, the next item is review, approve, applicate. Whoop, no, those are deleted. 6.2 and 6.3. 6.4. Review or approve or review accept City of Tupelo audit for 9/30/05. Electric Department audit for 6/30/06.
6.4.
We deleted 6.2 and 6.3. We're down to 6.4.
Oh, okay.
Do I have a motion?
Mr. President, I move that we accept the audit.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Mr. Gerald, will you care to explain this in public?
The audit report has been reviewed by the audit committee, and again this morning in your work session we answered questions. And it is important for the citizens of Tupelo to realize that they are receiving an audit report that has an unqualified opinion, which is the highest level of opinion that this city can receive, and that's all good news. We had no findings, no reportable conditions, no material weaknesses in this year's audit. And all of those things bode well for you as council members and for citizens out there to know that you're working in a city, you're living in a city that has good internal controls, takes care of its business, and complies with the laws and regulations, whether they're federal, state, or local ordinances. So all of those things are good news, and we're proud to deliver this report today. Like I say, that's coming as a recommendation from the audit committee. I'll be glad to address any questions that you have now or later. And at this point, that's my report, unless you have any questions.
Thanks, sir. I will commend the administration and the finance department for doing an outstanding job Thank you for that. Any other questions or comments for Mr. Gerald?
Thank you.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. It's unanimous. We added, let's see, 6.6, termination of need to clean private property. Did I miss 5? I did. 6.5, review approve ordinance rezoning property and amending official zoning map 248 South Green Street, known as the old Bluebell property.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we would approve the ordinance.
Have a motion
Second.
and a second. Discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to say about this particular piece of property, and I see another lady in the audience out there that was here to listen to that, and what Mr. Blaylock was talking about before, they are real proud that he's come in to do something about this building, but what they wanted to kind of be assured of, if he comes in and he changes his mind about the building, would it come back through the council for other plans that they would have, or back through the planning department? They feel like that he's doing a great thing, but in years past, they've had people come and looking at pieces of property and then changing their mind, and they've got stuck with some things that wasn't too appealing. And I think that's all Mr. Blaylock was trying to say, is if they change their mind on this piece of property, would it come back through the planning department and to, okay.
Has to be permitted, but Mayor?
I would just say that I believe the gentleman is asking to zone it as residential, and whether or not he changed his mind or didn't follow through, it would remain residential.
I don't think he
I know
was.
he had asked about going back to his original zoning, but actually residential is more restricted than the C3 that it presently has.
I think what he was trying to say today, or what they talked to me about earlier, he didn't really mean change the zoning. He just meant if they came in down there to build a residential section, that they wouldn't end up with subsidized housing with apartment complexes, that they could end up in a situation like over on Lawndale.
I don't believe that as far as I'm following,
I think.
I don't believe the zoning that's being requested would allow for.
Okay. All right. They just wanted that's and they're.
It would have to be permitted, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Have to go through the permit process.
I think that's what they were asking for when he was up here.
I
Because,
understand the gentleman's concern.
yeah.
I don't think they can hear you. They hear you at home.
I understand his concern that he wouldn't want anything to be detrimental to that neighborhood, but anything that was done would have to be permitted through the planning department.
I think that's what he was trying to say, and the community, all the community was talking about it, but 2 of them came to the meeting tonight just to kind of be reassured.
Right.
Yeah, I think the permitting process would catch that. But, any further comment, discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. All right, now 6.6. Approve action and termination need clean private properties.
I move that we approve this, item 6.
Second. Have a motion and a second. Comment? All in favor, raise your hand. Item 6.7, lease for the Mega Pop offering.
Make a motion, we accept this lease.
Have a motion by Ms. Malden.
Second motion.
Motion and a second. Mayor, would you care to explain that to the public? Oh, we can get Guy. We'll get Guy to explain that.
This lease was part of the overall Mega Pop agreement that was approved by this council in 2005. And the lease has just now been finalized. The facilities are now in place and they're ready to go. And what this does, and the grant money's been spent, the facilities have been installed. And what this lease does is grant the use of the facilities, which are all your cable, your fiber, everything but the last mile that will be brought on by private development, provides for the use of that by Telpac, who is the company that has stepped up to manage the system. And it simply puts in lease form what the original agreement, cooperative agreement that the council passed, recommended.
It doesn't include any interest in any real property. It's just
No real property at all. It's just the facilities are defined back there as cable, underground, above ground, those types of fiber are defined as the facilities.
Any further discussion, comment? All in favor, raise your hand. That was the last item on the action agenda. We'll move into the routine agenda, and the first item to address is to approve the minutes of the regular city council meeting of August 15th.
second.
Motion second. Discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Item 7.2, pay the bills. The bills were paid this evening by Mr. Jones, Mr. Martin, myself, and Ms. Mulder.
I make a motion we approve payment of the bills. Second.
Motion is second. Discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Next item, review approved request to apply for a Carpenter Foundation grant on behalf of the Tupelo Sports Council.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second by Ms. Dees. Mayor Neely, you care to address that?
The council would simply be approving the application to the Carpenter Foundation for a contribution to go toward the development of the Veterans Memorial in Memorial Park, Veterans Park Road. And I recommend to the council that you approve that.
Further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. 7.4, review approved contract with Mississippi Development Authority to administer emergency shelter grant funds.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. This is a pass-through, I assume.
It is a pass-through. The city only administers the funds to these four agencies.
Further comment, discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. 7.5, review approved request to reject bid in the narcotics office on Air Park Road.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Can you explain that?
Bids came in over the money.
Came in
so
over the money.
re-advertised.
That doesn't require a lot of explanation there then. Any further comment? All in favor, raise your hand. Next item, review approved interagency agreement for Lee County Multidisciplinary Child Abuse Team.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second by Mr. Jones. Mayor?
Yes, this is an agreement that we've had with other agencies which addresses child abuse. We've had it before, and it's just a cooperative agreement between the city and the other agencies that handle such cases.
Further comment? All in favor, raise your hand. Next, review approved request for declaration of surplus firearms and authorization to dispose of the same.
So moved.
Motion and a second. Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Hill, this would authorize the Tupelo Police Department to destroy these assorted and sundry cheap firearms used by criminals so that they could not be used again. I recommend the council approve.
Used to call them Saturday night specials.
Yes.
Further comment? All in favor, raise your hand. Next item, review accept item number 6 of Traffic Committee minutes of July 11th, 2006. Did Rick say it needs to be brought off the table?
7-8.
7-8? Right. Review accept minutes of planning committee meeting. New business items 1 and 2 and 3 only.
So moved.
Motion, Mr. Jones.
Second.
Second by Ms. Malden. Discussion.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President. Item 3 of the planning committee meeting, would it be in order to ask that the minutes show that this is item 3 approved with condition that 2 non-conforming billboards in the crosstown area and 2 other billboards be removed by the applicant?
Was that not included in this?
That's in their minutes. I just want to clarify it in my own.
Okay. All right. So noted. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. All right, now 7-9, review accept minutes of number 6 of traffic committee minutes on July 11th, 2006.
That's not what mine. I got
7.9.
Mr. President, I'll move that we take it off the table and vote on it.
Take it off the table and vote on it? Okay. We don't have to vote on that, do we? Motion, Guy? You take it off the table, we have to vote. All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion second. All in favor, raise your hand. Take it off the table and vote on it? Was that unanimous? Did you vote for it? Okay. All right. Now, I guess you have to make a motion.
I move that we would approve the, accepting the item number 6.
All right. Have a motion? I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Mayor?
Was the motion accept item number 6?
The motion was accept item number 6.
Well, may I address the council on the request and what it's for? For a traffic light?
Traffic light.
All right. There's a developer who plans to develop the old Red Cap property, and they're asking for a traffic light. Otherwise, they will have no ingress, egress to their property, and they will not develop the property. Now, I know we got plenty of red lights in that area, but this is not an option if this property is to be developed. And they are, as I understand it, ready to start the development, but will not do so without the assurance that they will be allowed like that. It has been approved by the Highway Department, and as a practical matter, it's the only way that the property can be developed. I would have to ask the planning department to furnish information on how many square feet of commercial development it is, and I don't think I'm at liberty to disclose the names of all of the businesses that are supposedly signed up on the dotted line, but it would be a significant increase in the assessed valuation of the city. And so I ask you to reconsider that.
Mr. President, is this, I remember Ms. Timmons saying in that traffic committee that this would not be activated until they reach so much traffic count, is that right?
Yeah.
There's that entrance.
Well, the development, we wouldn't put it up until the development was finished.
That's right.
Yeah, but I thought we had to have so many drivers.
Well, it'll generate it once it's open.
Don't worry, it's going to generate the required traffic, I feel sure.
They did say that in that meeting.
Right.
Bill.
Mr. Smith?
It's going to be 7 traffic lights within a mile.
Yeah, we really don't have, I don't
know if we got any.
I got a question, choice. We have criteria whereby, I think I'm right, Johnny Timmons, where whoever develops the property pays for the traffic light.
They would have to pay for the light, that is correct, Mr. Devlin. The city would not pay for the light. The city will not pay for the light.
Okay.
It has to be paid for by the developer. Now, this light will be aligned across from a vacant lot on the other side of Gloucester Street. And should that property behind Blackman, Buick, and those other businesses over there ever be developed, you would have a straight across street if the developer bought that lot, that vacant lot. We did require that it be aligned with that lot. You know, we have no guarantee that anything will ever be developed on the other side, but if it is, they at least have a way in and out. And we absolutely, positively, under no circumstances will ever request another traffic light between Best Buy and Barnes Crossing Road. You have my assurance there. I agree, we've got too many lights, and the error that the city made some years ago, and this is like being a Monday morning quarterback. I'm not criticizing anybody for it, but it's just a fact. Had we required frontage roads rather than everybody have an entrance, we'd have about half as many lights as we've got now, but we did not do that.
Yeah, I hope whoever develops on the west side of the Gloucester will try to align that street. We don't need any more T intersections. Make sure it's a cross.
I'd like to reiterate what was said this morning in our work session too, that, and I hope the council will review the comprehensive plan on an annual basis. And had we reviewed the comprehensive plan on an annual basis, we could have maybe done something about this situation. In 1991 and preceding years, it's really got serious.
Yes, I agree. Any further comment, discussion? Thank you, Mayor. All in favor, raise your hand. No, except no 6. Next item, review approved contract for legal services with Mitchell, McNutt, and Sams.
Motion to approve this contract for legal services with Mitchell, McNutt, and Sams.
Second. Comment? Fee structure is the same as it was last year? No increase?
Yes, Mr. Hill. Mitchell, McNutt, and Sam firm has done a commendable job on behalf of the city, and I recommend to the council that you approve their proposed contract.
Discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Well, we're going to have to put up with you for another year. No, you've done a good job for us, Mr. Mitchell. We appreciate you. Just wish we wouldn't have to use you at all, but that's not the case. 7-11, review accept minutes of Drainage Task Force meeting of June 8th, 2006.
So moved.
Second. Motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. 7-12, review accept minutes of the Major Thoroughfare Program meeting of July 10th.
So moved.
Motion second. Discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Did I get a second? I did a second. I didn't?
Second.
Got a second? Okay. We'll vote again. All in favor, raise your hand. I'm moving on rapidly. I'm getting hungry, I guess. All right. That was 7-12. 7-13, review, approve Three Rivers renewal contract for grant writer.
So moved. We approve this.
Have a motion? Do I have a second? Second. Mayor?
This contract, Mr. Hill, is between the city and the Three Rivers Planning and Development District. We are furnished a grant writer by Three Rivers. I guess you'd call it a rental grant writer lease. And Ms. Terry Blussard has been our grant writer for several years now and does a wonderful job for the city. I recommend the approval of the contract. It's for a one-year term.
Further discussion?
I think she's great.
She's done a great job. All in favor, raise your hand. Next item, review approved new schedule for electric rates due to TVA rate reduction.
I move that we approve this right quick. Second.
Motion second for a rate reduction.
Amen.
Discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Next item, review approved agreement with TVA in conjunction with the above electric rate reduction.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Comment? All in favor, raise your hand. Long agenda. 7:16, review approved fee changes in Tupelo Water and Light Department.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Mr. Timmons, would you like to explain that?
Council, what we have here is some fee changes that we need made at the Water and Light Department. The first one would be the tile or temporary electric services. This is where we have a contractor that comes into town to build a new facility and where he needs just strictly temporary power. The second one is installation of underground power. As I discussed with you before, because of the increase of copper we had on our underground conductor, we're in need to increase this from $5 to $7.50 for installed underground. Also, CT metering can is a device that we use on commercial buildings for metering device that is furnished by the electrician. We're seeing an increase in that from $120 to $135. Also, the next two items is a deposit for a fire plug meter, 1-inch and 2-inch. This way we'd have some security if the fire plug meter were to come up missing off of the construction site. This would protect us from the loss of the materials.
Any questions for Mr. Timmons? Discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. All right, next item, review, award, reject bid for electric materials, 6-month bid.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. These are pretty much general routine items that we regularly use. Any comment, discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Next item, review approved travel request for spouse.
I move that we would approve travel.
Second.
Motion and a second. This is permission for Larry Montgomery, municipal court administrator, to have his wife accompany him to a convention or a training session in Jackson, Mississippi on September 7th, 8th. Further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Next, review accept minutes of Historic Preservation Commission meeting of August 10th, 2006.
So moved.
Motion, second. Discussion. All in favor, raise your hand. Last item is to review approved credit card agreement with bank.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion? Question, if you have stock in that bank, do I have to exclude myself? There's no...
You can abstain.
Abstain.
Recuse.
Recuse. Discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. I recuse myself. Two recusals. All right, that was the last item on the action agenda. We'll move to the study agenda. The first item is review, discuss development code amendments.
Move it up.
Okay. Next item, review, discuss order to close and vacate the Bluebell Alley.
Move it up.
That concludes the study agenda. We do have a request for an executive session I need
Motion to determine the need for executive session.
Motion, second. Mr. Mitchell?
Mr. President, there's a need for me to update the council on the status of pending litigation, William and Linda Kynard versus the City of Tupelo.
Okay. Discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Need a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hand. All right, we're now in executive session.
To the department heads,
I'll make a brief announcement that,
we have some food back in the back, barbecue and trimmings for department heads and city council and others. If you want to go on back, those who are not in the executive session.
Just don't eat it all.
there's a lot of food back there, so. Okay.